So when we have an object in Maya, we can assign a material. But usually when we create an object, it already has material assigned. So in this case, it's Lambert 1. We find it in our attribute editor. And there are a couple of things that we can do. Change the color, add texture to it, change transparency, add texture to the transparency channel, and many other things. I'll just change the color. Yes, so this is kind of very basic material editor of Maya. And you can do quite a bit of things there, but then we have hypershade. And hypershade is kind of a dedicated texture editor here. Has more options than this one here. Even though the same material can be viewed here as well. So if I go to this button here, or if I go to I can find it somewhere else, like rendering and rendering editors and hypershade. It opens this window here. I'm not sure why it's so big at the moment. Let's scale it down. And what you see is some ingredients are just the same. So this part is the same. You can see that here we have some different materials. So there are materials used in a scene. Here we have presets, kind of materials that we can use. So standard Maya materials, Arnold renderer materials, and so on. I think it's middle mouse button that you click and drag, and you grab this material. So basically this is all the same thing that we are seeing. Like here is the same as here, and the same as here. The only thing is that here we can see more detailed view. So here if I open up kind of inputs and outputs, you see that I have, this probably was just outputs. Oh yeah, it doesn't have anything in that side. So here we see our material, and if I were to apply any texture, let me use the old way, I'll just apply checker material. So it's a kind of procedurally generated material. You see it has these checkerboards. It's just a color value. You can do things here. So you see that here we have just one view, kind of simple view, same here. And here it's more complicated. So what do we have here? We have a component that controls coordinate system of our texture. This is our texture. It would be an image if we were to use an image. In this case, it's procedural texture or map. This is our material itself, where we add color, add all different kind of things here. And this is a shading group. So things for volumetric stuff, for displacement, and so on. So here, let's say in this, we can say, please repeat this twice in one direction, or so to be visible. Let us, oh sorry, not coverage. Repeat UVs here, 4 times to 4. Let's make it 10 to 4, and you see in one direction it becomes more repetition here and less in the other one. Let me change. Changing just the material that we are using. We can use just some materials here, and you see here if I change this 10 to 1, it's like this. Let's try doing 10 to half. That's what we get. I forgot how to, oh yeah, Alt, and just the same way as we control the viewport, we control this one. So yeah, we can make sure we can kind of scale and repeat how many times our texture repeats in the model. So let's just have 5 to 5, let's say, kind of checkerboard. So this is the component that controls it. Of course, for texture maps, you probably have your object that has UV coordinates, and over those UV coordinates, this repetition can be created. So yeah, so this is an element that generates colors and might be alpha channel. It could be also just a texture, like an image. 2D textures, file. Here's our file. Let's find some file. Okay, that's an image, right? and we will use this output here. Doesn't let us. Delete color output to color, and now you see my plane. My plane is covered with this texture. And again, going here, I could say please repeat it twice and I don't know 0.5 times in this direction. We can rotate and do other things here. So again, how do we kind of apply the image to the surface? So UV coordinates basically. Our image, or it could be generated image, you know, there are lots of them. Like here, ocean, noise, you know, many different things here. You can try them out and see how it works. And then the material itself, and in this case we are only going for color. Transparency, if let's say we will use this one to transparency. And now you see wherever it's, actually I don't know which one is transparent, probably white one is transparent, I suppose. Now we can control these things. Yeah, white one is transparent. So that's for Lambert, and we can of course have different materials here. So let me grab, I don't know, Blinn. I think it's, yeah, double click and you created a material. So this is our Blinn, and Blinn has what? Color. Incandescence, that's a color that kind of generates, the object generates itself. In this case, texture would generate. So if you want to make glowing eyes of zombies that are not generated by any light sources, they are generated by texture. It's this one. Color, reflectivity, and all those things. So different materials have different elements, and of course if you're using Arnold renderer, you have again different shaders here, which are, you know, surface. How do I do it? No. Oh, I have to choose. Okay. I don't know. Whichever. And here we have specific Arnold shader here. So this one is used to control inputs, control different shaders, I suppose, different materials. So this is kind of the basics of our hypershade editor. And here are all the materials that we have in the scene. So we can hide the connections, you know, just the material. Its inputs and outputs. In this case, it has only output, or only outputs. So we have inputs and outputs only. I don't know which one. This might be. No. No. Yes, this one. Lambert. Because we have this checkboard as an input and a JPEG as an input. So again, don't show. I mean, show everything, show only outputs, show only inputs, show everything of the material. So this is very brief introduction to our hypershade editor, which is kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a bit easier to understand visually how these things work than compared to going, you know, oh, there is something plugged in here, I don't know what, let's go inside and look, okay, this is, what is it? Is it the texture? Okay. So it's a bit easier to see it here, but on the other hand, you have more controls and maybe more confusion, or maybe opposite. Might be easier to see those connections here. So one cool thing about this editor, hypershade editor, and procedural, I don't know, textures or whatever you call them. What's cool about it is that basically we can use lots of how should I say? So here we have a checker that generates this black and white pattern. But I don't want it just to be color and color. Maybe instead of black, I want to have a texture. So basically what I could do is I can take my color output and put it here to say color 1. And now let's get rid of that so we can easily see this. And no, sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant here out alpha. No, I want color to color. So right now my check pattern is texture to black checkers. Maybe let's not have black ones. Color 2 will be white. Yeah, so you see in one checker is color, white, and the other one it's texture. And so basically those things, those procedural ones, they have those inputs, and you can kind of generate endless, you know, I don't know, Mandelbrot, some sort of fractal stuff. We can use again that color output to color 2 in this case. And now it's texture plus the fractal. And so you can generate lots and lots of stuff here in our fractal. You can again do many cool things. And so basically you can generate really complex you know, shaders. The only problem is that they won't go to game engine that easily. You would have to bake them.